That's great, said Mighty Oak. Thank you. The Major said, we can stop now. Boris, let's show Mighty Oak your work. Boris spotted the sad look on Timmy's face. You too, smiled Boris. The Major said, of course, Timmy, I merely meant regarding our mission. Boris and Timmy excitedly showed their pictures to Mighty Oak. My boys, very impressive, both of you. Very good. Now tomorrow, anything specifically you want us to cover? Yes, Major, if you could go over some more maths, please. Right, well, I bid you all farewell for today. Goodbye, sir. Bye-bye, boys. They saluted the Major. Goodbye. Now, Boris, I'm sorry, if you could go back to the cover of my upper branches. Yes, of course. Timmy, my boy, when the Major was teaching you how to draw, did Boris know his colours? I'm sorry, sir. I'm a bit confused. You saw his picture, sir. Sorry, Timmy. When the Major asked you to draw the seaside scene or the picture of the woods, did he perhaps say, I want the sea to be a really deep blue or a light blue or green trees? Timmy thought for a moment. No, he just asked if we had ever seen the seaside. I said I had, and Boris had seen it from the back of the van on the way to the zoo. But no, he didn't say anything about the colour. The woods, the Major said we could draw a dense forest or a forest in the autumn, no leaves. Again, he did not mention colour. Right, so do you think Boris knows his colours? Timmy was so confused. He didn't understand what Mighty Oak meant. Timmy thought, of course Boris knows his colours, or he wouldn't have been able to do his pictures. Mighty Oak sensed his confusion. Boris was able to do his pictures from memory, things he's witnessed. I mean, if you said, Boris, what is green, would he know? Or if you said, what colour is red? For instance, if I said, Timmy, tell me something that is red, what would you say? Timmy was caught off guard, not expecting a question. His mind had gone completely blank. Why can't I think of a single red thing? This is embarrassing. Then something sprung to mind. A post box. Oh, or a phone box. That's it, Timmy. Now could Boris answer that question? I know he could draw it and in the correct colour, but does he know it's red? Oh, I see what you mean, of course. No, then I don't think he does. Timmy, how did you learn? Oh, Rose would sit out here with Andrew. She used coloured counters, and I would sit and watch. Do you know where the counters are kept? Yes, in the dining room. There is an oak trunk in there with toys and games inside. Would you be able to borrow them, Timmy? Well, if Andrew was still talking to me, I could. It's too heavy for Mark or me to lift the lid. Mighty Oak, I think I might have an idea that might work. May I try it, please? Yes, Timmy. That's great. Goodbye, sir. Good night, Timmy. Saturday morning had arrived, and Timmy was early again. Andrew had just left to play football with his friends. Ron and Rose were taking Mark out for the day. They were going for a drive to the countryside. Rose was making a picnic. Ron came to the garden with Mark. He had a feeling from Rose that they were rather getting in her way. It gave Ron a chance to smoke his pipe. Mark grabbed his daddy's hand. Come on, Daddy. Boris quickly climbed out of sight. Timmy was on alert to distract Mr. White, just in case he spotted Boris. Mr. White was very interested in the ground by Mighty Oak's trunk. He looked like he was looking for something. Timmy saw an opportunity. He climbed down the back of the tree and beckoned to Mark. He whispered something in Mark's ear. Mark giggled as it tickled. Yes, I will. You will what, son? Mark did not answer. What are you doing, Daddy? I'm looking for food. Food? Oh, don't worry, son. Dad, can I take my Batmobile? Of course. Best leave the boat at home. Tell you what, shall Daddy get some balls to take? Yes, Daddy. Can we take Andrew's cricket set, please? I don't see why not. Great idea, Mark. Ron continued smoking his pipe, watching his son. Rose called from the back door, "Come on, we're late." "Right, I'll pack the car." "Daddy, our games." "Good boy." Ron White opened the trunk, got out a football, some tennis balls, and Andrew's cricket set. He went to shut the lid. Mark grabbed his leg. "Let me help." "Good boy. Can you take the football?" "Yes, Daddy." Ron picked up the rest, and they walked out to the car. "Mark, do you need to go to the toilet?" "No, Daddy." "Well, in you get. We won't be long." Ron came in the front door, and Rose put the picnic basket on the hall table. He pulled open the drawer and pulled out a tin of tobacco. "You won't need that, Ron." He placed it back in the drawer, took his pipe out of his pocket and placed it on the table, picked up the picnic basket and took it to the car. As he sat down, Mark said, "Are we going now? Where's Mummy?" "She's coming, son. Had to spend a penny." "Ah, here she comes." Mrs. White got in the car, sat down, and then looked at her husband. "I won't be long." She went back indoors. "What's Mummy doing now?" "Just going to the toilet, son." "But Mummy just went." "I know." Ron raised his eyes. "Yay, here she comes." The mighty tree watched as they drove out of sight. Timmy started to climb down the tree. "Timmy, you'll need to wake Boris." "Timmy!" He was gone up the path and through the cat flap. Mighty Oak was worried. "He will never open that trunk. It's too heavy. That lid could crush his little fingers or worse." No sooner had the mighty tree thought that, he saw Timmy backing out of the cat flap. He was carrying a green Tupperware tumbler. "However did you open that trunk, Timmy?" "I didn't have to. When Ron came into the garden with Mark, you were talking to that collie in the park. I asked Mark to distract his daddy, so he would leave it open." "I'm very impressed. That was very clever. Timmy felt quite proud. "Now, Timmy, I've sent a message to the Major to rest today. Do you think you could teach Boris his colours?" "I'll try my best." Everyone was out for the day. The garden was very private, high fence all the way round. The nasty neighbour was away, and the other side was sheltered by conifers, so Timmy and Boris could relax in the garden. Timmy poured all the counters onto the ground and started to teach his lesson. By the afternoon, Boris could quite confidently remember the colours. Mighty Oak was impressed. Timmy and Boris had worked really well. "Mighty Oak, may I ask you a question, please?" "Of course. Why am I learning all of this?" "Boris, my boy, this will help your zoo, meaning larger enclosures, more capuchins. Please, Boris, don't worry. Now, you boys, play with your friends. You have until 5. The family are back around 6. Andrew is having a sleepover with his friends. Just be on the safe side. Be back to me by 5. Meanwhile, at the zoo, the 3 capuchins are getting along very well. Coco seemed decidedly happy at the thought of them getting the better of the humans. Plus, with all the excitement, it took his mind off his pain. Kevin noticed in particular Coco's different happy demeanour. He was pleased. Perhaps they could be friends. Petra had noticed and mentioned to Coco. He seemed happier and seemed like he actually liked their keeper Kevin. Coco said that was ridiculous, but inside he thought, "I think I do actually like Kevin. He is a kind man, especially the way he plays with Boris and the way he pretends to forget that Boris will steal his hat and glasses." Seamus said to Petra, "I know the zoo changed your name, but regarding us, why did you change your name?" "It's because Darcy reminds me of horrible times. Not with you, Seamus, but with people who had us before. Jed brought us." "I understand. Sorry, I should have thought." "Seamus, are you all right?" "Yes, why?" Petra and Coco looked awkward. "It's just that Coco and I heard you crying this morning." "Oh, I didn't realise." "Please tell us, Seamus. Perhaps we can help." "It's just, I love Jed, I really do, but meeting Mighty Oak, Boris and Timmy. You, Coco, meeting up with you again, Petra. It's been fun. I feel at home here. When Boris returns, I will have to leave and go back to Scotland. I don't want to leave you all. Oh, Seamus, I'm sorry. Coco, do you remember our long talks about Mighty Oak when Boris planned to escape for help? Coco, you do remember, don't you? All the wondrous stories that Boris would tell us. Wondrous, wondrous stories. You going home, Seamus, after all this, just doesn't sound like that tree we've heard so much about. Seamus did agree after spending some time in Mighty Oak. But he just couldn't see any way around. Seamus was very upset and jumped to the other end of the enclosure. Petra went to follow. Coco said warmly, grabbing her arm, I think he needs to be alone right now.